this is Angela from Natural Living Alchemy. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be making an emulsified oil facial cleanser. Now, it may seem contradictory to wash your face with an oil product, but what if I told you that this is actually a way to help your face get cleaner? Now, it does work on the principle of like attracts like, which means that the oil in this cleanser is going to be attracted to the oils on your face. So when you wash away the cleanser, all of the dirt, oil, and debris will be washed away with it. Before I get to sharing the ingredients that are going to go in this formulation today, I just want to invite you to check the description box below this video, and you're going to find some links in there. You're going to find a link to the full written blog article that does go into more detail regarding these ingredients that we're using. We're also going to talk about more in there the benefits of oil cleansing, and then just go over some of the different oils you could actually choose from because they all offer different skin benefits because you might not want to use the ones that I have suggested in this formulation, but it is completely customizable. The bulk of this formulation is going to be shea butter and tallow, coming in at 46%. Now, shea butter is packed full of vitamins and nutrients that your skin loves and actually requires. Tallow is a substance full of vitamins and it is very close to the sebum found on our own skin. And in that way, it is very easily absorbed. Now, I'm also going to link in the description box below this video a video tutorial on how you can render your own tallow. It is super, super, super simple. The liquid oil portion of this formulation is a total of 36.5%, and it is going to be a mixture of different weights of oils. So I've chosen sunflower because it's a lighter oil, good for combination skin. Olive oil, which is a heavier oil, but it's really beneficial for dry skin. And since I like to infuse things around here, my olive oil has actually been infused with chamomile. Now, I will have instructions in that blog article on how you can do that yourself. So other oils that I'm using is sweet almond oil, another lighter oil, but it is known for its calming properties and it is useful for dry, oily, and sensitive skin alike, as well as castor oil. Now, this is a natural astringent and it's really able to pull out those impurities from your skin. However, it might be a little bit too harsh if you have already very sensitive skin. So I would definitely suggest maybe avoiding castor oil if you are overly sensitive skin and using jojoba oil in its place. I had mentioned that this is going to be an emulsified oil facial cleanser. So we are going to be using Olivem 1000, which is a type of emulsifying wax. And it actually has a specific cleaning element that is beneficial in helping remove and wash away dirt and oil from the skin. Now, in a recent video that I did on an emulsified magnesium lotion formulation, we did touch briefly on the soaping effect that certain emulsifiers can have, such as Olivem 1000. I'm going to link that in the description box below too, so you can see what I mean. But Olivem 1000 is derived from olive oil, and it contains a specific fatty acid profile of cetyl olivate and sorbitan olivate, which are both known for their skin softening properties. According to one of the manufacturers of Olivem 1000, it states that it is a biomimetic ingredient that is specifically designed to mimic the physiological processes and chemical composition of human skin for complete skin affinity and maximum performance. Now, it is a Cosmos validated product, which means it is guaranteed to be an organic and natural cosmetic ingredient that you can use. Did you know that at its core chemical composition, emulsifiers and surfactants, which that just stands for surface active matter, are the same? The difference comes in the application. So an emulsifier is a substance that helps to stabilize and mix together two or more substances that do not normally mix, such as oil and water. And they contain a hydrophilic or water attracting head and a lipophilic or oil attracting tail. And this is actually what creates the emulsion. So emulsifiers are actually one specific type of surfactant. A surfactant is a compound that lowers surface tension between two substances, just allowing them to mix more easily. And they also have the same hydrophilic head and lipophilic tail as emulsifiers do. Now, their key function in cosmetics is a little bit different. Now, surfactants are known for their cleansing abilities, helping to break down oil and removing dirt from the skin. They're known for their foaming abilities and their wetting agents that can help move liquids more easily just across the surface of the skin. And they do have some emulsifying properties. Now, we think of using a surfactant when we're making something like a liquid shampoo, soaps, or washes. Now, we are not actually going to be using any water in this formulation. It is only oils and different fats and butters, okay? But we are going to be using the fact that an emulsifying wax has a little bit of that surfactant. It can actually help get you clean, all right, when used in a specific way. So, some other things that are going to be going in this formulation is cetyl alcohol. Now, this is a fatty alcohol that helps stabilize our emulsion, but it is not an emulsifier. So, it is typically used as a thickener in lotions, salves, and body butters without necessarily adding any weight or tackiness of a wax. And it gives the product a silky finish. And it is an ingredient that is permitted in natural cosmetics. Our formulation also contains something called Polysorbate 80, and this is going to aid in cleansing, and it's also going to help boost its rinse off capabilities. Now, I've made this formulation before without the Polysorbate 80, and I'll just tell you it was harder to get off the skin. Same wonderful cleansing powers and abilities, it was just harder to rinse off. Adding some Polysorbate 80, it will be easier to take off your face. Now, this is derived from sorbitol and oleic acid, and we are going to use this ingredient to just help ensure a uniform texture and overall sensory experience. Now, this ingredient is considered to be a safe cosmetic ingredient by the CIR panel, and that just stands for Cosmetic Ingredient Review Panel. And they're just a group of experts that decide how safe an ingredient is or isn't. There's just two final ingredients that are going to be going in this formulation. This one is optional. It is MT50 mixed tocopherols. It's vitamin E. It works as an antioxidant as well as just to help preserve the oils and keep them from going rancid in this formulation. And we're also going to be using liquid Germol Plus, or you're going to at least need another broad spectrum preservative. So we're going to need to make a water bath to melt all of our ingredients together. So what I've done is I just have a pot of water on my stove that I have brought up to a light boil, a simmer, and I'm just going to mix everything in a stainless steel bowl. Now, for this particular formulation, once everything is all mixed, we're going to be cooling it in the fridge, and then we're actually going to be using our beaters and we're going to be whipping it up. So just to save on dishes, I like to just do everything in one of these bowls. So we are making a 100-gram batch. So we are going to be needing 25 grams of shea butter, okay? Mine happens to be grainy and unrefined. You could definitely use a refined shea butter if you wanted. Both will work. And we also have 21% tallow. Next, we are going to add our liquid oils. So in this beaker, I have 11.5% sunflower oil, 10% chamomile, 10% sweet almond, and 5% castor oil. Next, we are going to be adding 5% cetyl alcohol as our stabilizer and 6% olive M1000 as our emulsifier. And And then lastly, we are going to add 5% of our Polysorbate 80, which is our booster. Now that we have our phase A in our bowl, we are just going to put it on our water bath, allow everything to melt, and just keep in mind that you're going to want to stir it periodically just to make sure that all of our oils and our fats and our shea butter is just all nicely mixed it together. So while everything is nicely starting to just melt on our stove, we are going to get our phase B all weighed and measured out. So you're going to require 1 gram of your MT50, and you're going to need 0.5 grams of your liquid dermal plus. Now, if you didn't want to use the MT50, you definitely wouldn't have to. You would just have to take that extra percentage and put it back into one of the liquid oils. Okay, so everything is nicely melted on the stove. Before I bring it over, we're going to do something a little bit different. So in order to add our phase B, we need to make sure that the temperature is going to be below 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, if you added it before the 40 degrees Celsius, you're going to probably damage your vitamin E as well as potentially your preservative. Okay, so it's just easier to make sure that you are below that 40 degrees Celsius. So we're going to do that a little bit quicker than what we normally do. So in order to do that, we're going to need to make a bit of a water bath, or an ice bath, sorry. So we're just going to put some cold water in a bowl. And then to that, I like to add just 2 ice cubes just to cool it down even more. Now, the colder you make this water, the faster this is going to happen. So if you don't want it happening that quickly, don't put as much ice in. If you're used to working in this way and you want it to go faster, put in more. Whatever you want is perfect. Okay, so we're just going to take our bowl off of the stove. We're just going to drop it in this water bath here. Make sure you turn your stove off, and then you're just going to want to take your spatula and just start mixing everything around. And we're basically what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to bring this up to something called trace. Now you will notice that there's kind of some gloopy stuff that's starting to form. That's what we want. So you just want to keep stirring until it is all closer to that more of a jelly consistency. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Now, so we are, if you look, and you drip some back on the top of it, and you can see kind of where you dripped it, that's what we mean by trace, okay? So if you find that it is cooling off too quickly, you can just lift it up out of the ice water, and if you find that it's going too slow, you can put it back in, okay? Now, once everything is that consistency that you're looking for, it is now cooled down, we can safely add our phase B. We're just going to stir that in until it is just nicely mixed. So now all that there is left to do is we are going to put this in the freezer for probably about 30 minutes or so until it is firm. And then we're going to take it out and we're going to hit it with the beaters until it is nice and it turns into a nice white, fluffy texture. While everything is nicely cooling in the freezer, waiting for us to get ready to whip it up, I just wanted to talk to you very quickly about cleanup and just share one of my suggestions on just easier cleanup when you're using different types of oils, butters, fats, whatever. Paper towel is going to be your best friend. I understand that this is maybe not the most environmentally friendly option that you can have, okay? But it is a lot easier than trying to wash your stuff off just in the sink. So, what I would suggest to you is just grab some paper towel and just wipe as much as you can off of your tools, out of your bowls, okay? And then it's a lot easier to wash them off once you've got the majority of those oils off of them, okay? Because let's face it, these oils can also clog our drains. So we probably don't want to send a whole bunch of it down when we're washing the dishes. All right. So just a couple pieces of paper towel and things are a lot easier to clean up. It's been 30 minutes. Our mixture is nice and firmed up and it is ready to be whipped. So what we're going to do is just grab our beaters. We're going to remember that we need to stop periodically to just scrape down the sides of the bowl. And we just kind of want to keep whipping until everything is a nice uniform texture and color. Okay, and this is exactly what we're looking for. We are just looking for it to be nice and light and fluffy. All there is left to do is package it up. So I just like to use these little 100 milliliter plastic hot tip containers and then just place the oil cleanser in there. And there you have it. Your emulsified oil cleanser is now ready to be used. So let's just talk about a couple things briefly and maybe some substitutions or just different notes that you need to be aware of. So when would you want to use this? Well, I prefer to use it at the end of the day, but really, you just want to choose once a day that is going to work best for your schedule and your routines. You certainly don't want to use this every time you wash your face, as that might actually just be too abrasive, too harsh, okay? So while you are using this in the beginning, you might notice your skin is doing something called purging. So you might notice some additional breakouts or even dry skin as your skin adjusts to this method of just deeper cleaning. So just know that this will subside within a week or two, just depending on what adjustments your skin's needing to make. If you happen to notice that your skin is itchy, raw, or just inflamed, stop using it immediately. This might be an indication that one of the oils is just too strong for your face, and adjustments just need to be made. That's why I definitely suggest starting out with no more than 100 at a time. Okay. If you do have sensitive skin, maybe start with a 50-gram batch and just see how your skin reacts to it. So you can substitute any oil that you want as long as the oil portion is still around that 37%. And if you didn't want to use shea butter or tallow, you wanted to use a different harder oil or fat, you definitely could. Okay. Just know that you might need to make some adjustments, but just give it a try, see what happens. If you did not want to use all of M1000, you could use emulsifying wax NF instead. You could also substitute the cetyl alcohol for cetyl alcohol, but your finished product just might be a little bit heavier. And lastly, if you were wanting to maybe add some essential oils and get some of their healing properties as well, you can. You will just need to add those essential oils into phase B, okay? And then just subtract that amount out of one of your liquid oils. So, how do you actually use an oil cleanser? Well, what you're going to want to do is just put a small amount in your hand, okay? Rub your hands together, warm it up nicely, and then I like to just massage my face, okay, using your fingertips. And then you want to take a warm, damp washcloth, okay? And then you're just going to put that on your face and you're going to allow it to sit on your face for just a minute or two. And then you're just going to wipe everything off. Okay. I like to then rinse the cloth out and then with the warm water and wipe it off again. And then pat dry if you want, or you want to apply a hydration spray and then your facial moisturizer. All right. So comment down below and let me know, did you customize this at all? How did it turn out for you? I'd love to hear about it. Be sure to come back next week because I'm going to be sharing a hydrating facial mist that is a perfect pairing to this emulsified oil cleanser. And don't forget to hit the like button if you've liked this video and maybe share it with somebody who you think would enjoy learning to make something like this. Consider subscribing to the channel so that we can spend more time together and that you don't miss future videos. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, so be sure to connect with me there as well. But I just want to say thanks for stopping by today, and I'll see you next time.